If you could imagine for a second, you come home from a long day of work. Your wife sits at the kitchen table on her phone. You guys go through the pleasantries of the day, how things were back and forth, and then silence. Your mind starts racing. What should you say to keep the conversation going? You start asking her questions about her day, but she gives you one-word answers like good, fine, all right. If there were only words, questions, or topics you could bring up to ignite attraction, spark connection, and increase intimacy. After what felt like an eternity in your mind goes by, she gets up and tells you she's leaving for the night. You sit there defeated, lost in an opportunity to make things better. And if this continues, the distance with her will only continue to grow. A lot of men don't know this, but the best way to talk to your wife, to bring her back, to attract her, to build that connection, to stop the divorce, is never skills you learn in therapy. Knowing what to say to your wife is where most guys completely fail. It is the most difficult skill to master with her when she wants space. If you don't learn how to talk to her, she will slowly lose more and more attraction for you. Seeing you as this boring guy that's just kind of a roommate in her life raising the kids together. There'll be no connection between the two of you, and the decision to leave you will be the right one in her mind, especially for another man. However, learning the art of conversation is a skill you can master to be able to carry the conversation toward any direction that you want. Instead, I want you to imagine walking up to her at the end of the day full of confidence and excitement, knowing that you know exactly what to say to her to spark attraction, build connection, and get her to trust you more. So in today's video, I'm going to help you discover that by showing you the biggest mistakes men make trying to speak to their wives that only causes her to lose attraction and respect. The 3 skills you must master to speak to your wife in a way that draws her in. And then the last skill will not only attract her, but make you come off as just this charismatic guy. It'll make you a better salesman, a better marketer, if that's part of your career. But just in general, you'll be an attractive force in your life, just gravitating people toward you because of your energy. The most common mistake that men make, that I guarantee you are making when it comes to conversations with your wife, is that you are using your why, not your why. What I mean by this is that a lot of guys think that they can just walk up to their wife, and if they had the right words that I told them, if they had the right way to say it in the right combination, it would unlock this level of connection and attraction, right? And I can look at one of the past videos I have, actually you can show it on screen here, that massive retention spike is a part of the video that said, hey, by the end of the video, I'm gonna show you these exact words to say to your wife to get her back, right? To stop the divorce. Now, the reason this is a mistake is because women especially are responding not to the words you are saying, they are responding to the energy in the source. Now, later in the video, I'm gonna get to exactly how to change that source to make it more confident that no matter what words you say, they are attractive, right? They are bringing her back, they are creating this sense of safety with her. But when you're so focused on the exact words to say, I don't care if they worked for another guy, they're not gonna work for you because it's not the same. So when I say use your why, not your why, the why that a lot of men like yourself are using is the logical why. You're trying to look for this like technique, and she's responding to the emotion, to the feeling, because she's in her feminine, right? It doesn't matter. You can take 2 guys, okay, saying the exact words to the same woman and getting a completely different response. Or I can have someone else say these exact words in this video and post that video with the same title and everything, but I guarantee mine's gonna get better retention, better likes, people are gonna get it more because of the energy, the certainty I have around this material. Do you see what I'm saying? For example, I can tell you that meditation, it decreases your anxiety and depression by about 15%. It increases your focus by about 20%. And I can say all these facts about meditation. You're like, okay, yeah, Josh, okay, cool, we get to the point. Or I can tell you a beautiful story about these 2 monks and how there's a master monk and then a student monk. And they're walking down this river path and they see a geisha dressed in all white, beautiful, pristine white. She's staring at the water. She wants to cross, but she can't get her outfit dirty. Of course not, right? So the master monk, without missing a beat, goes over, picks her up, carries her through the water and puts her down on the other side. The student monk is flabbergasted, but just tries to catch up to the master monk. About an hour and a half goes by and the student he cannot take it anymore. So he turns to his master and says, Master, you picked up and carried that woman. Us monks aren't supposed to do that. It goes against our code. The master, in his wisdom, turns to the student monk and says, I dropped her over an hour ago. Why are you still carrying her? You see, that story, you are a lot more invested into it because it still teaches the lesson. And that's an example of using emotional communication versus logical communication. I'll give you more examples later on, but when you are stuck in your head looking for the right words, you are disconnecting yourself from her. That disconnect is served as a wall because you're focused on your needs. What can I get from her? How can I use the right words? She feels that neediness, she feels the logic, the disconnect, and that's what she's rejecting every time in conversation. So when you keep on looking for the words, it won't matter until you fix the core, okay? Now, it's a lot easier than you think, but we have to address that. That is the main issue that so many men have, especially yourself as a smart problem solver in your day-to-day job. You're in problem solving mode all day long. You come home, you're like, all right, let's fix the problem with my wife now. It's not gonna work like that, is it? She's in her feminine. You can't use masculine solutions to fix a feminine problem. All right, I'm gonna give you 3 sub-examples that men use in conversation that is logic, that really just kills attraction and respect with their wife. The first one is asking too many questions, interview mode. Hey, so how was work today? Okay, cool, yeah. What are you doing later? Oh, yeah, okay. What did you want for dinner? Oh, yeah, all right. Did we wanna bring the kids over here? What about that appointment? Oh, okay. Did you want me to do the laundry today? Like those, and saying that you want to do the laundry, that's not inherently bad in itself, but she can sense the need of you wanting to carry the conversation, that you want to get somewhere, right? And that's what she'll reject every single time because it's coming from the place of neediness and logic. The second sub mistake that a lot of guys will make is stating too many facts, okay? Now I just did this with the example of saying, hey, meditation is, does these things for you versus telling a story. And when you talk to your wife, are you saying a bunch of facts? Hey, today I did this, and then this happened, and then that happened, then this happened, and I did this, or are you telling about your day in a story format? Oh my God, hon, like I could tell you my drive to the gym, and I can make it a whole crazy story, right? The ups and the downs, how I felt. Learning to tell stories, not only is it helpful with attracting your wife and keeping her engaged, but just in general with other people, being more charismatic in the workplace, like leading people, right? Being able to draw them into you. This is something that I do on this channel all the time, which is why if you're watching a lot of my videos, besides me giving you the content that helps you, telling stories really keeps you engaged instead of just stating facts, okay? Now I'm gonna expand on this micro skill, the last one, but the third one is when I talk to guys, I see this all the time, the guys who are very logically minded, engineer types, right? They will just be very monotone and controlled in the way that they are speaking. Yes, Josh, I'm here to save my marriage, and my wife is this, and they'll talk about the most emotional things, like their father physically abusing them, and it's like they're reading ingredients off of the back of a freaking cereal box, right? Yes, when I was 5, my father did this to me, and it probably made me feel that. And like, I'm not making fun of those guys if you are that guy. I'm just saying that shows me that there is a disconnect from your emotions, your authentic expression, in who you are and what you present to the world. And when you have that detachment from your emotions, she senses that as well, and it comes off as you just hiding yourself, okay? Now those are the biggest logical mistakes, but as you heard me say, there is a kind of a sub mistake that's connected to all of it with the neediness. So let's go more into that, what it looks like with process versus outcome. Okay, so the idea here with the process versus outcome, a lot of men go into the outcome-based conversation. I call it destination dialectics. Okay, it's a fancy way to say that whenever you are having a conversation with your wife, you're always trying to get somewhere, right? You're trying to achieve some results, okay? Now, this is the very masculine way of communicating. If you listen to men speak, the way I'm speaking to you in this video, I am using more A to B conversation. There's a point to what I'm saying. I am laying out problems, I am laying out solutions. You're listening to me right now because you're expecting to get certain solutions to the problems you are facing with your wife, right? However, when it comes to creating connection, when it comes to building value, when it comes to her seeing you in a positive light, supported by her, creating this back and forth attraction that she's lost with you over the years, you have to completely avoid the type of conversation. And you have this ability with her to have this natural conversation because you've been with her for so long, okay? Now, the reason you are disconnected from that way of conversing with her is due to the fact that you are looking for something. Whenever you go into outcome or destination dialectics, you have this goal in mind that disconnects you from the present moment, okay? You're not accepting the way she is with you right now, that she's upset, that she's not happy, that she's not attracted, and you're trying to get her to be that way. Now, the messed up paradox is that by you forcing and not accepting her the way she is, the way the present moment is, at that forcing energy, she feels that, right? She feels that neediness. She knows that, okay, I'm just gonna try to solve the problems. If you watch a lot of my content already, you'll know that one of the biggest mistakes that men make when trying to win their wife back is trying to solve the problems before they create this positive perspective that I talk about. When she's in negative sentiment, she's viewing you negatively, but you trying to force and solve the problems, you're not accepting her the way she is, you're trying to get somewhere, which seems manipulative. Okay? Because let's face it, you aren't okay that she's this way. You are disagreeing that she should feel this way. And you're like, oh no, I just want her to feel better. I want everything to be okay. But that inability to sit in the conflict and work through the emotions, allow her to have that anger and bring it out, okay? that allows her to feel accepted and safe with you. When you're trying to solve her problems, especially between the two of you, she doesn't feel like she can be herself, that she's not allowed to have these emotions. This is the crazy thing on the surface, because on the surface of it, if you see it, you're like, hey, I'm just trying to make her feel better. But you're serving yourself by doing that because you're uncomfortable with her emotions. People want to feel accepted. Everyone does. So when you're in that negative emotion, if someone says, hey, it's gonna be okay, don't worry about it, you're taking them out of that emotion. You're disconnecting them from the ability to experience themselves the way they are in the world, right? This is a very nuanced and advanced concept, but your ability to lean into those negative emotions, allow her to have them, and even saying to yourself, this is okay. She's supposed to feel this way. When you do that, when you don't have an outcome in mind, trying to get somewhere in the conversation, time slows down. She feels accepted and she does this, ready? Right? She relaxes around you, and so do you. There's nowhere to go. There's no rush, okay? And the thing is that when you're a man, it doesn't rush. When you accept that there is conflict, when you lean into the present moment and you embrace it, that is one of the most high value traits an apex male does. Okay? But the man that says, oh no, we gotta fix this. This is a problem. We just need to get back to the way things were. It's just like, I don't like the way things are. I'm gonna avoid this conflict. This is where it all stems from. When trying to get to that destination through dialectics conversation, it inherently tells her that it is not okay to be her. Now, this whole process of trying to get somewhere is why a lot of times wives will call their husbands manipulative. So often I hear guys say, like, I don't get my wife calling me controlling or manipulative. This is one of the main ways that she does this, is because she can sense underneath all the words you guys say, all the pleasantries, everything going on under the surface, there's a sub-communication going on of you saying, hey, you don't feel this way. Let's just fix this. Please go away from these present emotion feelings. I just don't like it. Come back to make me feel okay. It's about me. She feels that. And when you're so focused on yourself and making yourself feel better and not accepting her, that is manipulation at its core. So that begs the question, what kind of conversation do you have with her? Well, you have a process conversation. Let me show you how that looks. I was on a recent call with one of the new men in the program, and during the whole time, he was talking to me about a situation with his wife, had a couple exits of his company, and ever since he sold his companies, he was just trying to sit there and learn how to reconnect with his wife because he knew that there was just this shell in between them. And the ironic thing is that when I speak to these guys, I've been doing this for so freaking long that I can tell immediately when I talk to you, I can tell the parts of your personality that are disconnected from your wife, that push her away. Everyone has this defense mechanism up. For him, he was the logical guy. And so I stopped him about halfway through the conversation. I was like, look, you're a sweet guy, you really are, and I know you're here for the best. But I have to say, when I've been talking to you, this is just the feeling I get. I feel like you could have been talking to a brick wall, or it wouldn't matter that I'm here. You're not really talking to me, you're just kind of talking, right? There was disconnect, he didn't see me, right? He didn't notice me, right? It's so subtle, but after doing this for so long, I can tell when a guy is being overly stoic, avoiding emotional conversation, being too logical, being overly people-pleasing, saying sorry too much. These are all ways to push the other person away. And this is the beauty of coaching, by the way, that within an instant, they can point out this behavior in you that you haven't seen, no one else has pointed out to you your whole entire life. Irregardless, the point is there was a disconnect, and I know his wife feels the same disconnect, and that's what she's been having a hard time with for their whole entire marriage. But I guarantee there's been moments of connection there. There's been moments that I know you can have this process conversation to be able to connect with her. And I know you can do it with other people in your life, whether it's a sibling or a best friend or a parent. Everybody can tap into that authenticity. Now, most people, I'm going to show you an extreme example to prove the point and what this looks like.
Get ready, Chi-Town. Get ready, Shicky G. Okay? It feels and looks
Whoa, yeah.
like a double kick to the chops. Ow, I bit my tongue a little bit there.
You bit your tongue when you were kicking?
Now, you don't have to be like Jack Black and go over the top, right? And be overly self-expressive, or, a lot of people can access that part of their personality when they're drunk. But most often, you access that personality when you feel safe, okay? And right now with her, when you're around her, you're wanting something, you feel unsafe, like she's gonna abandon you, that everything's gonna fall apart. Now, the fact that you don't feel safe is why you go into your defense mechanism, whether it's being, the destination dialectics, where you're being outcome focused, whether it's the logic, whether it's a combination of both, or people pleasing, wherever the case may be, you go into these as a way to protect yourself. But when you protect yourself, you're putting up that shield, that wall, right? And she feels disconnected from you, okay? Now, there are two ways to really break that wall, to be your most authentic self, to not focus on the outcome, but go into the process with her, to be completely self-expressive, to connect with her, to attract her, okay? Now, the first one is getting to the core root of that fear, okay? And reframing it. But that can only be done through coaching, which you can set up a call down below with our team and seeing if our coaching program is a good fit for you. You click on the link down below, you fill out the application, you get on a call with our team, and if it's a good fit, we will offer you a chance to go into our program. We don't accept everyone, but make sure you are fully emotionally and financially committed, okay? Now, if you want to try this on your own, you can explore your fears with a therapist or whatever the case may be, that root fear. We have a whole process of how to do it that's been proven over and over and over with hundreds of guys. But the other way is through a technique. It's called free association. Now, free association actually started in psychoanalytic theory back in pre-modern therapy times, where they would show those like the Warsaw test, but they say, what does this look like? And then you start to say what it looks like and this whole story behind it. The idea here is that could you, if I told you to speak about this one topic right now, pause the video, talk about, let's say, trains for 10 minutes. Could you do that? Could you be expressive? Could you have that range of vocal tonality? Could you tell a story about trains? Could you do that? And despite anyone's reaction to you, whether your wife's kind of like this, giving you one-word responses, could you stay in that positive giving state where you're not sucking in and being restrained? Cultivating that ability to do so, to have that free range of expression in yourself. That's what makes her feel safe with you again, because despite how she responds to you, you're gonna be good. And what that conveys to her, when you can be self-amusing and you can just express yourself, tell stories about your day, and she's sitting there giving you all her responses, and you're good no matter what. I know it's hard, but your ability to cultivate that, to do so, it shows that you will want her in your life, that you're self-expressive, that you'll be okay without her. And when she feels that you are okay without her, she feels so safe around you. Like, oh my God, like this is the man I fell in love with. He's on his own purpose. Like he'll be okay without me. He doesn't need to rely on me, right? He's not like leaning on me emotionally, like, please help me, save me, save me. She doesn't want a man to be saved. Like she doesn't want to save a man. She doesn't want to be a mother. She wants you to take care of her. You see that? She needs you to lead. She needs to rely on you. That is the healthy masculine to feminine relationship. Doesn't mean that she can't meet some of your needs, right? That's important, but your ability to be okay with yourself is what she's been missing from you. In practicing this free association combined with addressing the core root issue of the fear and then reframing that, those two things alone, when you're in conversation with her, you'll have the skills and the repertoire in your tool belt to be able to carry the conversation forward every single time and build up these positive emotional investments into your emotional bank account. And over time, what will happen is that she'll go from the negative sentiment we talked about before to a positive perspective. And that positive perspective, that's when she starts to open up to you more. She becomes more feminine, accepting your influence, planning trips with you, and you start winning her back. All because you learned how to communicate with her effectively. Like that's all you need when it comes to this one skill. Now there are other skills, obviously, of like reducing the resentment, the forgiveness exercise, building trust, okay? And a lot of other techniques. And then you can go on the channel down below to check those out. Or again, you can set up a call with our team. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.